All right, welcome back, guys. We've got a balancing patch for you today. I'm really excited to look at the balancing patch from the RTA perspective. There's a lot of interesting changes, a lot of things that will make, I think, RTA gameplay better. Some units will become a little bit more meta, and some strategies will change, which is great because I feel like we've been a little bit stale in the current meta for a while, so it'll be nice to shake things up a little bit. So let's dive right into it. First of all, we've got Artamiel getting a nerf. She was one of the highest win rate units in the game. Not a lot of great counterplay for her. I mean, if you think about the crazy laundry list, I say her, I'm sorry, I know it's a guy. I messed these up. I see the Archangel. I think it's a girl. It's a guy. I promise. I know. For everybody that's midway through their comment, like, my bad. Okay, it's a guy. Him, he, Archangel. Yeah. So the nerf. The attack bar increase goes from 15% to 10%, so a little baby nerf. And then they've scaled back the ramp up in the defense increase, so the defense goes up by 10% each 10 times versus 20% each 5 times. So not a lot of a nerf, not a big difference. They're kind of being very careful with it. I think they still want it to be probably the best unit in the game, but 10% attack bar is not a lot of difference. The defense just gives you a little bit more time to not die, and if you somehow reset it with a Tessa or something, it makes him ramp up a little bit slower again. So it's nice. I like that they're starting to play with some of these ridiculous units and scale them back a little bit, because it's kind of dangerous to, you know, I mean, these units cost on average like thousands and thousands of dollars, like tens of thousands of dollars to summon if you target them. So scaling them back is kind of risky because, you know, the owners of these units are going to feel kind of betrayed. They spent all this time and effort into getting this, and then, you know, it gets scaled down. Especially, you know, if Fran were to surpass Archangel Light, like, no, you can't do that. So Artamiel, you're still safe. I think you're still broken. You still strip, if ruined correctly, stun, heal, revenge every turn, scale like crazy, get a ton of defense. What am I missing? I'm missing something, I'm sure. Oh yeah, increase attack bar. You kind of just murder everybody. I don't know, your problem, but still really, really good. So that's a little nerf. We'll see how it turns out. I don't think it will change much, but if they can shave a couple percentage off the win percentage in general, you know, instead of like 66 to 60, that's something, but still really, really good unit. All right, looking at Vivachel or Vivachel, the Dark Harp. Song of Switch Destiny has now given a little bit of a negative. It puts itself to sleep for 1 turn after using this skill. Can't be resisted and ignores immunity. So they gave it the tableau treatment a little bit, except a sleep is not as bad as a stun because you can wake up from a sleep. Also, there's certain things that helps things that are asleep, kind of like the tableau Josephine combo. The Vivachel Josephine combo might be something you have a little more control over because you can force yourself to sleep and then get a Josephine follow-up, which is pretty nice to 1-2 combo, especially if Harp completely eradicates someone attack bar. Josephine is now triggered, and then Josephine can get the kill. So you kind of force the kill unit right after the skill. So that's pretty nice. But in theory, by adding that little bit of a negative, if you see a Josephine Vivachel, you know, you don't let that through. Try not to let that through. That could be bad. I would probably ban the Vivachel because it's still really, really good. And Josephine's a more normal win rate kind of a unit. Like, you don't have to worry about just dying from awfulness like Vivachel. So, all right, the Fran nerf. This is pretty great. They're nerfing some of the top kind of win rate units. This is the first one that you might actually have. So hopefully you have it. So they took away the stun. Used to be a 20% stun on every attack out of the 3, so that's really good. Now it's a bar reduce, so they takes a little bit of attack bar, 20% chance to decrease the enemy's bar by 10%. So if it completely triggers, best case, they're 30% less attack bar. This has different uses. It's kind of nice. It won't trigger Josephine, so that's a little bit of a perk, you know, if you were worried about, you know, Josephine messing with your Fran, that's not going to happen anymore. But I think the loss of the stun is it's a pretty big change for Fran, because Fran had something great to do on every skill, and now she has 2 great things to do and 1 pretty useful thing to do, right? I mean, there's some units that only reduce attack bar by 15%, and Fran can still do it by 30. So a little bit of a nerf, a little bit of a correction. I think that'll help. She's kind of used in every match, so it'll be nice to make it not quite so ridiculous. Plus, she would do things like just stun everybody and heal everybody back to full, and it was crazy. And she could kind of solo anyone in the game if she got lucky on her stuns, and that doesn't really seem reasonable for a 3-star healer, you know? So yeah, good nerf there. All right, we're going into Achroma, the light Valkyria. The ally's chance of receiving critical attack is reduced from 15 to 30%. That's great. She should do something useful, and this is now useful. 30% decrease in crit is good. I don't know if it's going to make her good, but it at least is something positive for her. And it kind of shows how low she was and how she needed a buff, and that they just doubled it. It wasn't like, you know, with Eladriel, with Artamiel, they reduced his proc from 15 to 10%, right? The bar. But in this one, they just straight up doubled it. So that's a pretty big change. All right, Asima, the Light Hell Lady, Crumble, added effect, increase your attack by 10% per continuous damage granted on enemies after the attack. I think it's great. I think it's it makes her a more intense Hell Lady. She's gonna cycle turns on 2 of her 3 skills on both AoEs, and she's just gonna go nuts. If she violent procs, like, problems, right? That's a great fix. All right, it's nice that there's not a ton of buffs or nerfs. Like, it's a pretty tight little list. They didn't hit everything, but they hit obvious problems. Like, I don't think a lot of people would disagree with some of the changes here. So, all right, let's look at the Water Sea Emperor, Poseidon. Inflicts damage proportionate to your attack power, now has attack power and speed. So it's great. He's now even better as a damage dealer or a speed cleave. And I think he gets another little change down below we'll look at, but that's nice. That's a nice little buff for him. Kind of separates him a little more from Varad, who's, you know, really good at CC. He used to be really good at CC. Varad's really good at CC, so now he does CC plus damage. So that's his role, right? All right, Sekhmet, Fire Desert Queen. Charming voice. They've been trying to make this not trash, and I don't know that they've succeeded, but they're going to keep trying, it seems like. So the issue with Charming Voice is always it has to pass accuracy and resist check on both parts of the skill, on the strip and on the reset, and it's a one-time proc. Like, there's a lot of things that are really useful, like chilling, that you can pretty much guarantee it's going to take the buffs because it gets 3 shots. Charming Voice gets 1 shot, so it's all or nothing, right? She's the ultimate gamble. If she works and you win, you know, you win your gamble, you do great things. If she doesn't work, you do literally nothing, and why did you bring her? Because it's on cooldown. So the last time they made it so everything you stole reduced the cooldown, which made it even more gambly. It's like, if you gamble and win, you win even bigger because now you have a lower cooldown, but still, you can still lose everything, right? So they tried that. It was obviously bad because it relies on RNG. It's not useful. It's sort of a desperation play. Like, if you don't have units that are equivalent to her, or if you're in Siege and you're out of units, you know, in comes Sekhmet, here we go. Let's see how we do, right? It's a shot in the dark. But now what they've done is, if the skill fails horribly and you know, completely lose your gamble, you get to try again next turn. It doesn't go on cooldown. So that's kind of nice. I don't know how effective it'll be. You'll lose tempo because, you know, when you do Charming Voice, you want it to work right then for a reason. You know, you're resetting a Hathor, and, you know, the bonus of, oh, I'll get to try again next turn does not help because there is no next turn. You're facing Hathor, right? But, you know, there's certain situations, longer games, that this will be great. And if you miss, at least there's something good coming up. And if she keeps the previous thing of everything she steals, the cooldown reduces. That's going to be great because she'll be cycling a little bit more. If she misses, she'll continue cycling. So we'll see. We'll see if it gets more play. I think it's pretty good change. She already does a lot of good things, so hopefully that'll be a nice solid change for her. All right, Wind Monkey. The damage decrease passive is now 35% for 25%, which is great. Makes him 10% tankier. So, you know, where some units nerfs and stuff, you have to rune them better. Now for Wind Monkey, you can rune him worse and still get the same 10%. Like, you can rune him 10% worse, and it's the same as someone that's runed 10% better than yours right now, right? So that's kind of nice. The counterattack is also increased from 25 to 35, so that's kind of nice. It's a nice little buff. Gives him a little more relevance, right? He's kind of falling off in terms of any sort of usefulness. All right, Wind Paladin. They added the effect, grants immunity on all allies who have full HP for 2 turns. Changed HP recovery amount and the shield HP proportion. So HP recovery and shield switch, immunity for full HP. So this is good. Gives you a little bit of an incentive to buff it turn 1. I don't know. I think I've seen it described as sort of like a Wind Wusa, but slightly not as great. I don't know. I don't have enough familiarity with this, but it looks nice. I mean, anytime you can get immunity, I mean, that's pretty solid. 2-turn immunity. Like, I think she'll see some play. She'll see some nice counterplay against water units, right? So that'll be good to see. All right, Dark Kobold Bomber. This is one I built after the HOH. I think I actually have 2 of them 6-starred because I had some theory that they would be useful, but then they changed them a while back, and I think they got worse. And so now they're changing them again to a single beneficial effect stripper. So removes 1 beneficial effects from all enemies on Magic Exterminator. This unit now does quite a bit of debuffs, and it has a strip. I don't know if this is enough to make him relevant, but it's nice as a 4-star. It's nice in Siege, right? So maybe he'll find a place. He's currently useless, right? So maybe this will give him some sort of use in this game. I'm not going to guarantee it, but maybe, right? There's a lot of things that do similar things to him and don't have a place. So maybe he does. We'll see. Hopefully he does. I hope he does. All right. Julie, the water PRA, added effect, the damage increases by 50% for each beneficial effect on the enemies. So, you know, if they have shield, it's going to hit 50% harder. So it gives her a little bit of a way around some damage mitigation and just makes her hit a little harder, right? They're trying to give her a spot because, you know, everything pales compared to Lucian, especially anything that's wind or water is competing with Lucian's slot. And yeah, I mean, you might bring her a little bit to soften something up because she doesn't really mess with Nemesis. She hits so many times. But yeah, this will be good. You can ruin her a little less if you're going first, but we'll see. I don't know if it's enough to make her relevant again. All right, Cowgirls. I don't see a lot here that's worth looking into. The damage increase doesn't matter. Let's see, the fire Cowgirl. I just don't think these matter, right? Maybe someone will use them, but yeah, little bits of changes here and there. But yeah, if someone uses them, I will reassess. But I don't see that being useful. All right, got some new awakenings. Some really good new awakenings. So let's look at Tian Lang first. The Light Panda. Accuracy 25% turns into Strengthened Dragon Dance. So they realized how awful the nerf was for Molong and how much worse it was for Light Panda because all he does is skill 2 and skill 1. So they changed it. They're like, okay, yeah, this is terrible. Let's make it better. So now, attacks the enemy 3 times to inflict damage that increases according to your max HP. That's the same. The first attack removes 2 beneficial effects. The second attack decreases the attack bar by 15%. And the third attack stuns them for 1 turn with a 25% chance each. So this means you don't have to ruin them on Despair if the third thing gets through, because that's kind of Despair. Different proc condition, but similar. The 2 beneficial removal, the attack bar decrease, and the stun is nice. The fact that he already messes with attack bars quite a bit with his passive, now this will further mess with attack bars. Yeah, this should be really good. He was already pretty good as a counterpick for his passive, but adding this in with that passive, I think makes him probably top tier again in a lot of situations. So we'll see. But yeah, that looks pretty nice. All right, this is the one I am most excited about, a Triton buff. And it's the weirdest buff. It's not changing his skills. It's not doing anything. All it is doing is changing his awakening from accuracy 25% to speed 15. This gives him a unique slot in the game that he's never had. And I think it's fair. A lot of people are going to say it's not fair, but I think it is fair. And I'll tell you why. His biggest issue is he had to pass accuracy resist checks, right? When he would do his buff removal skill. And his pushback, his bar pushback is 25%. Tiana does not have either one of those conditions, and her bar increase for your team, it's basically, they could just say it's irresistible because you're increasing bars. That's not a thing that matters and passes any sort of check, right? So you will guaranteed increase your bar by 30% with Tiana. And her removal was guaranteed. So it was this amazing combination of it's all going to work perfectly. And he had to compete with that with a 25% reduction, which is a maybe, has to pass the check, and his buff removal had to pass the check. It just wasn't, it didn't compare. Do you want certainty or do you want to gamble? You want certainty. You want your thing to work. You don't want to lose due to losing out a gamble, right? But this speed now incentivizes his gamble really, really well. It's a huge incentive to gamble with Triton versus not gamble with Tiana, and I think that's what the comparison comes down to. So now his base speed is 116, which means he outspeeds Bernard. You put him with a 33% speed lead, and suddenly on defense, you know, the odds of him removing their buffs and messing with their attack bar is near certainty, right? You're going to have to build a very specific AO to counter a Triton on AD, right? Some people build it. It'll probably revolve around Kabila, right? Since Kabila is a really, really fast bar booster. But, I mean, this gives him a spot. It's really, really cool. It's a great kind of an elegant change that gives him his own unique spot. It's like, okay, someone's picking a Triton, they're gambling, I might resist, right? Someone picks a Tiana, I know it's happening, I can't resist. But the Triton's going first. Like, I can't outspeed a Triton. There's a couple situations. Maybe people will build very specific Ethnas, right? Because that's fast, that's faster. You know, there's a couple units you could do something to that effect, but this gives Triton a place in the game, especially on AD. On AO, I would say, if you want to gamble a little bit on AO, you'll go first. In RTA, I think it's going to be quite devastating as well, because you'll see a lot of people bring Tiana in for Gani Hathor AoE control, right? Because we're pretty single target control. because AoE control is harder to do. It kind of requires a Tiana. There's certain ways to ban you out of it. There's certain fire units now, like Antares, that can really mess them up. But now Triton's going to go first pretty much in any situation, no matter what you do, you know, like it'll mess up twins quite a bit because you're going before the twins. Whereas before, the twins go second, they ban out your stripper, whatever, or the twins are really, really fast, 300 speed Shayna's. But Triton's going first. If Triton makes it through, Triton's going first, especially with a speed lead. Triton Sierra, Triton Vanessa, right? If ruined correctly, Swift. Also opens them up to really fast Despair builds, which are kind of scary. Like, we'll see 300 speed Despair Tritons, and it's going to be obnoxious. They're going to give up the extra speed given by the buff and exchange it for Despair, and it's going to be crazy. I can't do it. Someone's going to do it. People are going to do it. So this is a great change for him. He actually now will have a use in multiple facets of the game. So great job, come to us. People complain, but they'll find a way around it. You might have to bruiser a little bit, you know. Goodness gracious, a bruiser. Or maybe your AO doesn't use Illusion. Maybe it uses fire units. People might actually have to not Lucian, right? So I think it's a great change. So I'm really excited about that change. That's the best change in the patch, in my opinion. All right, leader skills. These are both buffs. The Paladins, Water and Light, so Jean and Josephine, instead of being guild content leads, they're now universal, which is fantastic. Josephine is now a leader skill in RTA, which just boosts her up a little bit. Same with Jean. You know, you want to use these units in all areas of the game, and anytime you get a universal leader skill, that's pretty good. So another little buff there. All right, back to Poseidon. Changed from HP to attack type, so they really want him to be the attack Varad, and he is now. I mean, they did everything they could, right? They gave him speed scaling. That's not something they give away too often. They gave him attack type. He's gonna be a little bit of a beast, right? He's gonna be kind of a beast. So that'll be kind of cool to see. All right, then we got some skill text changes, so that's what's going on there. I hope you guys are excited about this patch like I am. I think the main unit that didn't get any love that's going to get love, like it's not a question, is the Wind Cannon Girl. She does nothing. She has no place. She's worse than a lot of Nat 4s. They made her a Nat 5. They didn't have to. If they made her a Nat 4, we'd be like, oh, she's just the bad one. We know she's bad. That's fine, right? There's a lot of units that are like that. But they chose to make her a Nat 5, so they're going to have to do something about it. It's going to have to be... She's going to have to be a Nat 5, right? They're going to have to give her Nat 5 things to do. Even if it's, she's the best monster in the game at Necro, because she's a Nat 5 Necro monster. You know, it's not what people maybe want, but it's something. So we'll see. I don't know. But that's the balance patch. That's my take on it from a kind of an RTA, maybe arena perspective. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm curious to see what you guys are excited about or looking forward to, or I completely messed up on. Anyway, I will catch you next time, and take care.